Hi everyone, welcome back to Feeding Raven Doodles, a pet parent's guide to nutrition. Today's topic is food and water dishes. Now, there are so many different types of dishes out there on the market, and there are many different types of materials that these dishes are made out of. Just like with pet foods, there is no one-size-fits-all for every single pet. And so today we're going to be talking about different materials that pet dishes are made out of, and then specific feeders and waterers. So we'll be comparing all of these, and we'll be talking about how to choose the one that's right for your pet. Studies have shown that pet food dishes are significant bacterial reservoirs. They're the third dirtiest object in our homes, right behind the kitchen sponge and toothbrush holders. Pet food dishes can harbor pathogenic bacteria, or disease-causing bacteria, and zoonotic bacteria, or bacteria that can be transferred from our pets to us. Now, the bowl material, or what the bowl is made out of, can influence the type of bacteria that grows there. In addition, the pet's diet can also impact the bacteria that's found in the food and therefore in the dishes. And then the length of time between cleanings and the type of cleaning used can also influence the bacteria that is left on the dish. Stainless steel is a great option for our pets' food and water dishes. While stainless steel does have a charge associated with it and therefore does attract bacteria to the surface, the bacteria don't actually grow very well on the surface of stainless steel. One of the best things about stainless steel is that it's easy to clean. It can go in the dishwasher, it holds up really well to disinfectants, and it's very hard to scratch or wear out. Stainless steel pet food dishes should be washed daily with soap and water, and they should be scrubbed once a week and soaked in a diluted bleach bath. Plastic dishes are often not a great choice for our pets' food and water. So plastic actually wears out very quickly and very easily, and the tiny scratches and wear spots on the surface can contribute to bacterial adhesion and provide a great growing environment for that bacteria. And so plastic is often very difficult to clean due to this. In addition, plastics might not be able to go in the dishwasher, so you'll have to check the packaging when you buy that dish. A good thing about plastics, though, is that they usually do hold up pretty well to disinfectants. And so if you do use a plastic pet food dish, you should be washing it daily with soap and water, just like with stainless steel, and scrubbing it once a week and then soaking it in a dilute bleach bath. If you do notice worn out spots or scratches in the surface of that plastic dish, it might just be better to toss it and get a new one. Based on a couple of studies, ceramic may actually have lower bacterial adhesion and reduce bacterial growth as opposed to plastic and stainless steel. However, one downside to ceramic is that it's heavy and it's breakable, and so chips or cracks in that surface can be a great site for bacterial growth. Ceramics can, however, go in the dishwasher, and they hold up very well to disinfectants. And just like with your stainless steel and your plastic, you'll want to wash it once a day with soap and water, scrub it once a week, and soak it in a diluted bleach bath. And if you find any chips or cracks in that surface, you'll definitely want to toss that ceramic dish and get a new one. Automatic feeders are feeders that have a reservoir of pet food and at certain times throughout the day measures out a specific amount of pet food and dispenses it into a bowl for the pet to eat. Automatic feeders can be good for pets who need to be fed when their owner isn't home, and they can be good for controlled feeding. So they remove much of the human error associated with measuring pet food, which, like we discussed in our previous video, how to accurately measure your pet's food can be significant. The automatic feeders that measure pet food with a specific weight in grams are going to be the most accurate, as opposed to the feeders that measure in cups. One downside to automatic feeders is they have to be plugged in, so they have to be by a source of electricity. And their reservoir that they hold the extra food in often doesn't preserve food very well. So like we talked about in food storage, pet food should be stored in its original bag, in its original container, to prevent nutrient losses and spoilage. And then the bowl portion, so what material that actual part the pet eats out of is made of, will influence how well the automatic feeder can be cleaned. Elevated feeding stations can be great for pets with esophageal conditions, such as megaesophagus or gastroesophageal reflux disease. And if you want to learn a little bit more about these conditions, you can check out my video, Vomiting and Regurgitation. However, for most other pets, elevated dishes aren't very good, and that's because they can be a risk factor for GDV or canine bloat. So if your pet doesn't have an esophageal condition, it's probably best to avoid an elevated dish. Pet feeders that have a microchip or an RFID reader essentially have a door that closes over the dish portion when a specific pet is not at the dish. So these types of dishes can be great for multi-pet households, especially in households where one pet has to eat a very specific diet, like a therapeutic diet. And so the feeder will prevent all pets but one from eating out of that dish. Just like with our automatic feeders, a couple of cons associated with a microchip or RFID feeder is that it needs to be plugged in, so it has to be by a source of electricity, and the portion that the pet eats out of, the material is going to influence how well the feeder can be cleaned. Puzzle feeders are great for slowing down pets who have a tendency to gorge on their food, or for pets who are prone to GDV or bloat. However, most puzzle feeders are made of plastic, so you're going to want to keep this in mind when it comes to disinfection and scratches on that material. Also, those nooks and crannies in that maze of plastic can be pretty hard to clean as well, and some puzzle feeders might not be able to go in the dishwasher due to the material that they're made out of. So you'll definitely want to check the package before you buy a puzzle bowl. Water fountains typically have a reservoir of water and go through a cycle where the water is pulled up into a spout and either is dispensed in a waterfall or in a streaming motion. And so water fountains can be great for cats, especially those who need to drink more due to a disease condition, like kidney disease, for example. Cats are very picky a lot of times, especially those with chronic health conditions, and drinking water is extremely important for our feline companions. However, a couple of cons associated with water fountains are, one, it might be difficult to assess how much your pet is drinking on a day-to-day basis. Another downside is that the water reservoir can harbor debris and bacteria. And they also may be difficult to clean. Many of these fountains are made of plastic, and so taking the whole thing apart and cleaning it can be a task. And then one more downside associated with water fountains is that they often need to be plugged in, so they need to be located by a source of electricity. An automatic or a gravity water is contrasted with a water fountain in that it doesn't need to be plugged in, and the water flows passively. So the water is typically in an upright reservoir and it flows downward into a bowl that automatically fills up whenever the pet drinks out of it. And so just like with a water fountain, it provides an unlimited source of water, so it can be great for pets who drink a lot or who need to drink a lot due to a health condition. And with an automatic or gravity water, it's usually easier to assess how much your pet is drinking on a day-to-day basis because you'll see that water level fall in the reservoir. Just like with a water fountain, however, that reservoir can harbor bacteria, and the material that the water is made out of can influence how well it can be cleaned as well. Thank you so much for watching this quick tips video on food and water dishes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. Leave comments down below if you have any questions for me or suggestions for future videos. And check out that video's description below where I give you a bunch of resources and primary literature that I used to make this video. Don't forget to visit feedingravendoodles.com where I give you access to all my articles, videos, and resources all in one place. Next time, we're going to be talking about fresh diets. Say bye, Raven.